Hi guys, this will be not your typical tutorial. It's gonna be a story. It's storytelling time. I have bought myself a new ISO builder, specifically for you guys, a new investment. And Asus Z490A is what I bought. I've made a study, and so can you. Hardware probe or something similar. Let's see if it finds it. That's how you find your next computer. The best computer possible, Linux hardware database. That's it. So I always say to you guys, do Ctrl-T, type probe. Why? So people will know that this system you're working on works, that Linux works, that the driver works, that the Intel card or the internet card works, and so on. It's so much information that's sent over here to this community of Linux. So this is the technicality of my computer. So everybody knows we're on ArcoLinux rolling, and with what motherboard am I working, and so on and so on. It really is a massive amount of information, and that's what we ask to give to us. I mean, when there's an issue, we want to know your computer, and this is well the best way to figure out immediately a full overview of what's possible on your machine, what's your Xorg like, and so on and so on. So that's probe. This is how I decided what to buy, right? Decided to see, do these parts work with Linux? That's just a tip, that's not a story, but hey. So I bought myself a machine, a new machine. I've made the benchmarking between the old one and the new one. It's always fun. Geekbench is an application that's now on your repo. You can run it as well. And this is what we get. We compare the old machine, the old ISO builder, and the new one. The blue one is the new one. As you can see, it improves quite a bit. And I'm not interested in all these graphics. What I'm interested in is building ISOs. The new one does it in 8 minutes 37 seconds, and the old one builds in 14 minutes 18 seconds. So it's an improvement of, let's say, about 6 minutes less, I mean, right? So that's a super improvement. And of course, that's why it has 16 threads, 8 cores, 2 threads, 16 threads. So that's the background. So it is a storytelling. What happened? I have this ISO builder, this SSD, on ArcoLinux.com. I give you the advice, some of you will have heard it, that I buy base. This is my machine. All my machines are like this. It has this bay that you pop in, and you have a slider at the end. Maybe there's a better image somewhere. And you slide this to the right, and poof, the SSD pops out. And I do what I say, and I say what I do. I have one operating system on my SSD at all times. So in goes Linux, out goes Linux, Windows goes in, Windows goes out, and it's never going to mess with my grub and mess with anything, dual booting and all the problems that people sometimes have, all these messages and posts you find online. One operating system, one hard disk, one SSD, or NVMe, right? That's a little bit difficult because I don't think there is any bay available to pop in and pop out, so I stick to SSDs. So I have this machine to the left, the old ISO builder. You've seen the hardware, the Z270H. I pop out the ISO, the SSD, go to the other one, open up the Z490A, the new one, and I put the ISO, the SSD inside, and I boot up. And that, guys, that's Linux. It just works. So everything boots up, everything is fine, keys are there, all the data is there. It's 800 gigabytes of this 1 terabyte that's occupied. And there the story becomes interesting. It's okay, super, everything works. I just have a new machine, well, the old SSD, and on a new machine. Awesome, everything great. But I did buy a 2 terabyte SSD just for the occasion because I was running low. Running low, you can run low in situations like me, right? These are all virtual machines. So yeah, and then all the ISOs you build, it's like 50 gigabyte every time you build it, and so on and so on. So quickly, 1 terabyte was a little bit not enough. So I thought, let's buy 2 terabyte. Okay. Then I remembered I've made a tutorial already, Clonezilla, YouTube, there it is. Voila. Oh my god, sorry guys. So what I did in the past, maybe you don't know this, but I was a user just like you, a Linux user. I was a Linux Mint user for Cinnamon for years. Almost finished? Okay, skip ads. So, at some point in time, I made some comments on the forum how Arch Labs could be improved. And a few months later, I was the sole ISO builder. So I was building the Arch Labs ISO. And from there, from this start off, from this kickoff, ArcoLinux came into existence and we went our own way and have our own goals as education, as a kind of university, as maybe you know, I am a teacher. So I find it important to share and promote Linux, not ArcoLinux, not ArcoLinux, Linux. In here, in this video, I really do it all. I mean, I'm opening my case, I'm plugging things in, I'm showing you everything. And if it's Arch Labs or SUSE or Fedora or anything else, doesn't matter. To the machine, to Clonezilla, it's bits and bytes. That's all it is, bits and bytes. So then I said, how did I do it last time? How did I make this USB? Because, okay, I still got it. And that's always a good thing to have around these, well, repair disks and you repair USB things and like this, the Clonezilla, to have it around. So I had one of 2019, I think it says. So I said, let's maybe update, right? Why take the old one? Let's go and find the new one. So what's Clonezilla? It's a partition and disk image cloning program similar to, and maybe some of you, if you're a little bit older, then you know Norton Ghost. It's a bit gone. I haven't heard a lot about it anymore, but basically it was the only way back then to have a great fast running Windows XP gaming computer. That's having every 6 months or so we put back a image. So it makes from the hard disk a 101001 image file, and every time we put it back and we got again a fast Windows. That was our solution back then. So I need to have this back. Then I went to look, I don't know where I clicked, maybe download, but I went to look, okay, how can we, I clicked here, it seems, I've clicked here as well, but at some point I found also Tux Boot. And I said, that's interesting, Tux Boot. So it's basically an application that lets you immediately burn all the data to a USB so you can boot up from the USB. I said, that's what I need. So what happens? Sudo pacman -s Tux Boot is now on your system. You got it. Don't use the Git version. I've tried it, got an error, so leave Git. Don't use that for now. So USB Tux Boot, there you are. Tux Boot is on my machine, I don't have, I do have an USB in there. Yeah, check. So I could just say simple, maybe something before we start, and let's cancel. And this is an image from the website. So some of the things I can show, this one I can show. So it's less storytelling and showing something. Tux Boot. So the only thing you need to, oh, sorry again, sorry. Start from scratch, right? USB, stick formatter, format, pop something in there. Doesn't need too much. Well, these days I don't think there will be a problem with size, right? That's gone. It's all gone. Then we click on Tux again. Tux Boot. Yes, I'll make a nice icon for it later on. So device is DBA1. Let's make the mistake. You must first mount. You read it. You go to Thunar, for example, or Nemo or something else. USB stick. You click on it. It's now mounted. And you do that again. And now we can continue our story. It's going to download the ISO. Oh yeah, maybe I can put this one as well. And it's going to put everything from the ISO in here, extracted, you see. So that's happening. So later on, we have a USB where you can boot from. And booting from Clonezilla will be this. You choose your VGA, you could choose your keyboard. And what I do, and you can see that in the video, let's see if we can find it, start Clonezilla, voila. Then I use device to device because I want to have, okay, one step back. We have two hard disks, one SSD of 1 terabyte. That's the source. That's what everything has. That's my data. That's my old ISO builder. The 2 terabytes that I have is empty. Well, actually there was already ArcoLinux on it, but who cares, right? That's empty. I want to move all the data from the 1 terabyte SSD to the 2 terabyte SSD to Clonezilla. So device to device, that's what I chose. And then I can say, okay, choose number 1, the source. Let's see if we find somewhere an image. No. So we have sources, where we get a source from. Choose your source. Okay, I take the 1 terabyte. Choose your destination or your target. I choose a 2 terabyte. So in my case, there was no confusion. In the case in the video, there was a lot of confusion because the two things are exactly the same thing. So device to local disk is the option here. I did not do part to local, I did disk to local disk, so from A to B. And these things are exactly the same. The only reference was a number. So I had to look at the end, at the backside of the SSD. What number is this? I do not want to overwrite my source. You can do that as well. Is overwriting the target, which is empty, the 2 terabytes, or overwriting to 1 terabyte, probably is going to complain. Can't do that, right? The size. But here, if you make the mistake, you're overwriting your source. So that's important. In my case, no problem, because the first line said 1 terabyte and the second line said 2 terabytes. I couldn't make the mistake. Okay. So, and then 40 minutes go by and everything is set over, is copied over. I've used the bay here, right? And in one bay, the one SSD, the 1 terabyte, and the other bay, the 2 terabyte. So it's inside this little bay. Otherwise, you'll have to wire all that in here with all these wires in the video, the SATA wires. Okay. Then I booted up. Yeah, everything was working. Everything was working. What did we see? I don't know if we can find this. Probably we'll find something, but Let's do a GNU. New. Yeah, cool. Hub. So can we draw a little bit? Yeah, we can draw a little bit. So what we get is a hard disk, and half of it was used. 1 terabyte was here, and the other one was here, and it was not used. So we get a UEFI here. Can we fill it with some colors? Can we do that? The bucket, where's the bucket? Everything changes always. Bucket fill. Boom. So we got the EFI, and then we got the, no, a very, very small partition before UEFI, and then comes X4. Yeah, that comes the X4. Okay, and the X4 is there. And then we had the swap. Okay, then we had the swap. That's for me orange. Feels like an orange thing. Just playing with some colors. Okay, so that's the swap. And then we had 1 terabyte. Well, it should be bigger, you know, it should be bigger, but 1 terabyte. That's just grayish. Was not used. Was unused. Sigh, of course, because that is not the point. Everything works, everything is copy pasted over on my 2 terabyte, but it made a copy of the 1 terabyte on a 2 terabyte and not using the extra terabyte there. So what did I do then? I boot up with any ArcoLinux USB, ISO, boot it up, flagship, XL, and when you're greeted, there's gparted, right? And in gparted, I can say something. You see, everything is fixed now. But imagine that we have these 3, and it was in the middle, everything stopped, and everything was grayish. I said to the system, I selected this orange guy. You can select these things and do something with it. Now I can't, but when I boot from the USB, I'm in a live environment, and the disk is just a disk. It's not mounted, it's not used, it's not, so it's just ones and zeros for it. So I selected this guy, and then I said remove it. So this thing was gone. And at that point, I selected the red guy. I don't know if we can show that. You can select the red guy, and it says somewhere here, here it is, resize and move. So it stopped here in the middle, and I took it and made it all the way long. So that's the most important part. I deleted my swap partition. There is no more swap. Do I need swap? 32 gigabytes. I don't need swap. So I wanted to have it gone anyway. But it needs to go, because otherwise I can't make it bigger. So the system won't let me make it bigger if there's something here in the middle. Can't do that. So click, remove. This is the remove icon here. Say yes to the removal. It's gone. Right mouse click again, or partition, resize, move, make it all the way, and then apply again. And then boot. Okay. Next problem. Booting up, your system thinks there is a swap. Ah yeah. There used to be a swap. Question is, where's the swap? So you see all kinds of, in the meantime, this is done. So we've created a new Clonezilla USB. Okay, so this is what you boot from. Let's get it out here. Okay, then we get all kind of errors because the machine wants to boot from something that doesn't exist. So my first reflex is go to File System, etc fs tab. Oh, maybe you're in luck. Fs tab. I've made a copy. There you go. So it used to have a swap partition, and the, what was it again? Unique universal identifier or something. You Google it. So this code points to a certain place on my system that's not there anymore. So I had to delete. As you see, this one is the working version, the left one. I deleted the line. If I delete the line, I had the reflex. No, I made some errors in between, but let's stick to what needs to be done still. What needs to be done is to make init cpio pio.conf. Go in here. It said here resume. I had to kill the resume here. Oh, everything is still open. That's nice. So this one had to be edited. Make init cpio. Resume is gone because it said, well, the swap is, well, used to resume. Needed to go. This one needed to go as well. I don't know if I made a copy of grub. No, probably not. etc default. So in here, grub. There's grub back new, maybe. Let's see. Compare. No. So it used to have also this UID thingy in here. Resume equals and then a user ID, something like that. So I said, oh no, that doesn't exist anymore. It needs to go here as well. So make init cpio grub. What else was open? fs tab, clean that out. And the Linux preset, I just had to look, just went to see if that contained anything. And then you do the sudo make init cpio -p, capital P, Linux. There's a small difference between the small p and the big P. Oh yeah, there were 3 lines here. Missing firmware, and just because it's an ISO builder, I thought, hey, why not? But this one doesn't know. So that's, I can't find this one on the AWR. The other 2 have been installed. Not sure if I can still see it. Yeah, this one and this one are being installed. I have installed them because of the messages there. It's not important. I've done it. I've used 4 years of system without installing these lines there, these packages. But hey, I thought, why not? So that's been said. Where is my? Yeah, that's okay. We don't. Well, maybe we need still to show you something. I've closed my terminal, I think. So if everything is set, you do the sudo make. Oh yeah, I wanted to have a look. Make init cpio. Type H and learn, right? P preset file, P all presets. So sudo make init cpio -p. Probably gonna minus capital P. Okay, capital P. Voila, like this. You see, it's the same without the Linux. Minus small p Linux. Some of us, other Linux systems, have more elements in there, in that folder. So I haven't shown you that folder yet, I think. So in here, etc make init cpio, the .d, the D for daemon. Here we have just one, but you can have more. And you type a minus capital P, it will do all the presets. One last thing, and then everything is done. and the story is at an end. Don't forget to update the grub. We've changed the etc default grub, but you gotta run it. So the changes are now visible when you boot up. I hope I've been complete. You never can redo anything. If you forgot, you forgot, right? But I think those were the steps I did. And in the meantime, all kind of errors came, like maybe we can show that. Let me see, let's pause. I did find some of the links, and the terms I was looking for, or on DuckDuckGo or Google, is error resume hibernation device, or error resume no device specified. So in all these between steps, I got all kinds of errors, and I thought, why? And the last thing I had to do was to make init CPIO to delete the resume there, and then everything was fine, because when I booted up, there was always this resume line, that error in there when you first two lines you get with the systemd, the number, and then we had to wait a few seconds, and then error came, and that was the make init CPIO. For the rest, everything made sense, right? Changing fs tab, updating the grub, and then well, first changing the grub and then update grub. But the last thing mattered was the make init CPIO inside there, delete resume. And now I'm a happy guy, and that's the end of the story, right? If we open SuperShift, we see here 985 gigabytes still free. So the 2 terabytes are being used, and I have a bunch of software to share with you guys, all the new ISOs coming soon in a few weeks time, mid-July. We give them all to you, and I can have some fun in the holiday months, July and August. That's our period to go on holiday and relax a little bit. Just wanted to share this story, maybe it can help somebody, because yeah, that's what we do. Cheers.